Salesforce set to report its quarterly results after the close today. To preview results for the software firm, we want to welcome in our next guest. That's Melissa Otto, head of Visible Alpha Research at S&P Global Market Intelligence. Melissa, I feel like it's Carmen Sandiego. Where on earth is Melissa? But I want to ask, because I want you to give away where you are. Let's get into it with Salesforce. This has been a big underperformer this year and a real disappointment to investors who have stuck by Salesforce. In terms of expectations going into this, the consensus is $2.85 for EPS, $10.26 billion for revenue. Does that line up with what you're expecting?
Hey, Diane, thanks for having me on today. I'm in London, but all eyes on Salesforce today. I mean, I think the key focus for them is going to be the visibility that they provide around their AI initiatives and the monetization of their, basically their agent approach. And I think, coming into the quarter, Visible Alpha consensus looking for $9.7 billion in revenues, 85% gross margin for the subscription and support segment. What I think is going to be really important is next quarter and how they guide for that segment. Right now, consensus is looking for $10.4 billion. So that's really going to be the number to meet or beat.
I'm curious to know, when you think about their AI strategy, because there was a lot of hype around Agentforce and what it's going to do. And the question is, I guess, when it's turning into real dollars and cents. Do you think Salesforce, or what's your expectation on what kind of guidance Salesforce will give on how its AI agents will make money?
It's unclear. They've been fairly nebulous about it. And I think, this coming into this quarter, the market would like to see some sort of metrics or something specific where they provide the sort of quantification of their vision to help the street and the investment community understand how they can start tracking the success of Agentforce and Data360.
Okay. One of the things I know that you're across is, you said there's been some positive sentiment around the commercial business line. What are you paying attention to there?
Right. So, I mean, the commercial business line has had some positive sentiment around it. We saw that last quarter. That seems to potentially be continuing for this quarter. We'll hear what they say in the call. And I think, what we would like to see is, essentially how the small businesses are factoring into that. And I think, given that S&P Market Intelligence is expecting a 25 basis rate cut yet again in December, that may be good news for small businesses and could spill over into Salesforce.
Do you think that Salesforce has kind of hit or is near saturation in terms of market adoption? Because for years, they had strong sales growth all the way, to up to a few years ago, really never below 20%. But now it seems like, their annual sales growth is not what it used to be. What's your take on that?
Indeed, and I think that's part of the reason that we've seen the stock underperforming. In addition, the company is really committed to its AI strategy, but we really haven't seen the rubber hit the road with the AI strategy impacting fundamentals. Once maybe we do see that, that may be a signal that new growth could come into the mix, and that could potentially be a positive signal for the stock.
Okay, and then investors obviously watching profit margins closely here for Salesforce. What will you be listening for to determine, I guess, what direction it can go in terms of keeping up its margins through 2026?
Indeed. So this quarter, Visible Alpha consensus is looking for 85.4% margins, and then in the subscription and support segment, and then for next quarter, for that to eke up a little bit to 85.5%. And then for next year, for that to remain around that 85% level. So if those dip down, that may be a negative signal to the market that they are not as profitable or may have some pricing erosion happening around that segment.
Melissa, we'll leave it there. That's Melissa Otto, head of Visible Alpha Research at S&P Global Market Intelligence, joining us from across the pond in London. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks, Diane.
Appreciate it.